Alright guys, welcome to EOC Explained. Alright, we're going to go over question 43. If you want to go over that yourself, pause and do so. Otherwise, here we go. Alright, how does DNA in cells determine an organism's complex traits? Alright, first thing we need to do is highlight. I highlighted DNA in cells, and what it does is it determines the traits, right? So your DNA in your cells is more or less your directions. So let's go through and knock some things off and make sure we know which one's not right so we can figure out which one is right. Okay, so let's look at C. C says DNA produces the energy for an organism's needs in order to grow. Well, what produces energy in an organism? So let's talk about humans, for example, first off. In humans, mitochondria is what produces energy, right? So that's not DNA. DNA might hold the directions for the mitochondria, but the DNA itself does not produce the mitochondria. DNA is more or less the blueprints, remember? So the blueprints don't build the house. People, the workers, build the house. The blueprints are the directions to build the house. So we can go ahead and eliminate C. Okay, let's look at B. B says DNA separates into long single strands that make up each part of an organism. Okay, that's saying your entire body is made up of DNA. DNA separates into long strands that make up each part of an organism. Well, you're not made up of DNA. You know, it's in the nucleus, but your whole body, you know, your arms, your legs, your feet, your toes, that's not made up of DNA. It's really made up of proteins, right? So that's not it. Separates into long strands. Yeah, and again, that doesn't have anything to do with DNA determining a cell's traits. That's just saying your body's made up of DNA, which is, again, that's not relevant, so we can knock that one off. All right, let's look at D. D says DNA folds into the nucleus of each cell, each of the cells of an organism. Well, okay, again, we got to remember the answer should be relevant to the question. Is DNA in the nucleus? Absolutely. Awesome. It's right there. That's true. Is that relevant to how it determines traits? No, it's not. Right? So, what is relevant to how it determines traits? Well, let's look at A. DNA contains codes for proteins which are necessary for the growth and functioning of an organism. That's true. It's the code. It's the blueprints, you know, as we circled right there. And those blueprints code for certain proteins that have certain functions in your body, whether it's your hair, your nails, your eyes, skin, all that stuff. So remember, the code is what DNA is, and that's what codes for the traits. So there you go. The answer is A.